I recently soloed from bronze to masters, and I was like, this sucks, but I'm going to tell you how to do it and how to do it faster than I did.
All right, everyone, welcome to Overwatch Hero School Ana edition. Today we have a very special guest, Eshry, joining us. Now, if you're not aware, Overwatch Hero School is where we invite big brain guests. I'm putting the wrong direction. I'm not a big brain. Big brain guests to tell us all about a particular hero and try and learn something along the way, maybe. So please welcome Eshry.
Hello. Hi, guys. Hello. I'm Eshry. I am a washed-up team Ana player. I don't really know if I'm the right person to be talking about Ana, but all I can say is I recently soloed from bronze to masters, and I was like, this sucks, but I'm going to tell you how to do it and how to do it faster than I did.
I love that. For someone who's been stuck playing Ana in Gold and Plat for a very long period of time, it's impressive that anyone has broken through out of that hellscape of Plat Gold. So I want to hear all you have to share with us.
Okay. All right. So basically today, this is your guide to Ana. The best, funnest, highest skill tier support in the free-to-play game, Overwatch 2. I don't know about you guys, but Ana is my favorite character to play in this game. Ana is, I don't know. There's something about it. There's just something about hitting shots about Ana. Whether it's ASMR of hitting shots or hitting a sleep or hitting a nade, it's just, you feel like you're the best player in the game. And that's why I play her. She's cool, she's calm, she's collected. We love her. But I want to start with a disclaimer. I'm disclaiming right now. I was once a GM3 player. I was once in GM. I'm no longer a GM player. I got there via Kiri and Ana. And the only reason that I think I'm like kind of qualified to talk about Ana right now is in the last season or so, I climbed from bronze to masters, and I have experienced the elo hell that people who are hard stock gold might be very familiar with. So I think I've got some things that could help. I've talked to some other Ana players who have put some info in here too, and I think we've got some good things to yap about and help you get out of your elo hell. I also want to say that I'm old. I'm like a boomer gamer. It comes from a lot of self-taught stuff, and I was coached maybe like 6 years ago playing Overwatch, but I don't remember anything. But all of this comes from like a place of, I just wanted to prove that I was still good at Overwatch. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to be like, I can go into the meta ranks and I can get out of them, and I did it. And also, I am not Flats Overwatch, so I've got nothing profound to say. I've got nothing like clippable. It's just metal rank education. And sorry if I can contradict myself.
You've got all the resume items I'm looking for this particular educational moment. So I'm hoping if you're stuck in elo hell like me, maybe there's a pathway out if we listen good. We'll see.
Well, there definitely is. I think let's honestly just get into it. Hey, frankly, what I think for getting out of the metal ranks is more than just like your skill on playing a particular character. I think you can definitely one-trick a character to a certain extent, but it's obvious that there's like basics to Overwatch that you need to know, and it starts with like your game sense and your awareness of what is actually happening in the game. Because sometimes in gold, and in particularly gold plat, you will be playing games and you'll experience things that people like not setting up for a fight, that are not pushing and retreating at the right times. And the absolute worst is staggering. I cannot believe the amount of people in gold and plat who are just like, I don't know the structure of a fight. And they will walk in one by one and die. And it is like the most frustrating part of the entire elo. And I think like once you're able to understand or force yourself to kind of learn fight structure, how to retreat, how to know when to push, when people have their ults, when people have used their ability cooldowns, you you know the gist of the game well enough to then be able to be the carry, which I think is like, I think that's how you get out of elo hell. You need to be the one who can carry everyone else out of that trash game that you're playing where your DPS is 6-6 with 2k damage and you as an Ana have 5k damage and you're 16-5. You were the carry. And I think that's a big part of like your step out is learning the general part of the game. And all of this, though it seems kind of like, oh, how am I going to play the game and be aware of all of this at once? It becomes second nature. I think it's one of those things where you know the posturing of a Reinhardt when he walks down main and you're like, he's going to ult on me. I can tell he's about to ult. He's got his ult. It becomes second nature, and it's things that you don't have to be conscious of. They become part of your kit.
How important do you think in the whole scheme of things are comms? Because I feel like when there's comms, everything gets a ton better. But sometimes you don't always get to choose.
No, you don't get to choose. Sometimes you'll get slurred at and you got to be like, I guess that's what I get today.
Yeah.
So I think with comming, you have to particularly learn what is useful to communicate. So I find a lot of low elo players who are, or people in metal ranks who are trying to comm will communicate things that are just unnecessary, like more on the left or more going that way. And it's like a panic comm, but things that are useful and things that won't confuse your team are what you need to be. It's the information that you have that you need to share with other people. And that's like, oh, Genji has ults. Pull back, can't see you, Ryan. Like all, and the communication needs to be sharp and it needs to be fast. It can't be like peace and war literature. It's got to be something that someone can pick on really fast. And I think like using your comms to prioritize targets is one of the things that people in metal ranks need to learn how to do.
Yeah.
When someone calls a target, you just need to be on that target. That's why you comm, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's incredibly useful. You'll find that there's some games in high elo where you don't get the communication, but people have the game sense and the awareness where you actually don't necessarily need to be communicating as much. But I think it's something that definitely needs to be learned. It's especially if you're learning game sense and game awareness, because it all improves all of that.
Great. Can I say, if you play games and you don't own team chat, get a team chat. I don't care if you don't talk, just be in there.
Chat. Just
I
listen.
love comming. I don't like comming to myself. Just do it.
Yeah. Just don't say useless stuff. Like me when I ask people what they're doing today. I mean, that's fun, but also, you know, clear comms, guys. Clear comms.
Yeah. You got to stop people from tilting too, though, you know?
Yeah, so true. TLDR, improve your game sense and awareness. Learn ult abilities, how fights work, when to push, retreat, etc. And don't say dumb stuff in team chat. And the next one is kind of your character and map knowledge. So understanding what every character does, their cooldowns, their counters, as well as how your character, and in this case, Ana, can sustain against them. So what I mean by that is basically how are you using your cooldowns in relation to their team comp? Because if you understand what your character can do and how they can, and the time to kill a DPS or a squishy, then you know what triggers the use of those cooldowns. Is it when Tracer's used her recall? Is it when Ball has used his smash or his shields? Like, you need to be able to understand how your character works in conjunction with the ongoing ability and ult usage in the game. And beyond that, you kind of need to know the maps. You need to know where you can stand. Is your character going to be useful? Are you going to be a sitting duck? In this case, Ana is always useful. Always play Ana. Ana is great.
Wow. I feel like I've been on the side of probably the weakest sort of map category for Ana would be control. I don't know if you agree. You think they're all good. I don't know. I just feel like there's less sort of like long sight lines and things on control, but maybe I'm just not finding them. I don't know.
I think that I think oh god, I'm so mean.
Ana
I think if
apologist
you're
here.
having trouble with Ana on a map, there's a skill issue. Because Ana can be brawl, she can be dive, she can counter dive, she can be a part of all of it. It just depends on where your skill level is at. On control, if you don't have sight lines, then you've got hip fire, you've got an anti-nade, and you've got a sleep ability. Like you are so ready for all of these situations. And honestly, you shouldn't be scoping that much. Like I think that's a huge misconception about Ana is that yes, she's a
Oh.
sniper, like absolutely 100% she's a sniper.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're sitting scoped in for a lot of the game, then you're losing a lot of the potential that she has as a useful character. My next point is aim. In general, in Overwatch, to improve and get out of the middle ranks, unfortunately, you're going to have to learn how to aim.
Aim good, please. Yeah. Hey, get that out of here! Don't. I am not the face of bad aim. What the?
West.
Wow.
Amazing. So basically, you are going to be losing like a lot of your utility, like your abilities, if you can't aim. You need to be hitting sleeps. You need to be able to hit fires. You need to quick scope. You need to be able to aim down long sights and hit your shots and know that that vulnerable time of you in a scoped position is going to be used to do 75 to 140 damage on a character. It's not going to be wasted. I think it's important to know that you can win a 1v1 without swapping to Brigham Moira as a support. That is a crutch swap. You're not going to improve. You're going to continuously be like, oh, I'm getting dove. I'll just swap to Moira. I'll swap to Brig. You're not going to improve. You're not going to get better. Your aim's going to continue to slack. You need to learn how to stop, look at that Tracer and learn how to hit her, whether it's like hitting a sleep. And even if you don't hit a sleep on Tracer, you can still win the 1v1 because she's a low health character and each shot that you hit on her is 75 damage. So you basically you can 3-shot a Tracer as long as she has no cooldowns. 3-shot, 4-shot. And I've included some codes down here for sleep aim.
Oh.
Yeah, so one of these is a DoomFist sleeping map, and this other one I think is the Genji ulting sleeping map. Learning to sleep is like a hard thing. It's I'm still not great at it. When I hit a good sleep, I'm like, who is she? She's God.
That's your whole Instagram content. I'm sorry.
It is. And that's the thing. It's like that's the like rewarding part of Ana is that you're hitting all these incredible like trick shots sometimes, and it's fulfilling, and you feel like an actual superhero. So that's why she's fun. But to be useful in a game and to climb, you can't be wasting your cooldown. So if you use a sleep, it needs to be at a useful time, it needs to be on a useful target, and you need to know how to eliminate that target if you do sleep them or work around it. Like it is a incredibly important cooldown in your kit, and it enables you incredibly well to 1v1 a lot of characters in game, most of the roster, even a Winston sometimes. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is mental.
This is breaking my mental right now with the pictures of me on there.
I cannot enter another gold game of people losing it in match chat because there's a DPS diff in the first like 10 seconds of a game. Like that's not the time to call it, guys. I need you to stop. So a lot of things that I notice in metal ranks is people losing their mental. And I think once you've lost that game, it's pretty much GG. Like if you're doubting your team and you're doubting your ability, then you just head down that rumination path of like, this game's lost, blah, blah, blah. And there's times where you can be like, oh, I can see that this is a W or an L, but it's nothing to do with just because you lost the first fight. Like you need to give fights time. You need to give your team a chance. And things to think about is like when you're tilting, a lot of people play past fatigue Like there's aim fatigue. People keep playing the game for like 6 hours and they're like, I'm not climbing. And it's like, I don't think you're even looking at your target anymore, mate. Like take a break. The other thing is people love to blame others. And I think a huge thing is just swapping, just continuously swapping. If you don't think you're impactful, you just swap to another character. And I think there is a time to swap, but there is a time to stay on Ana and actually hit your shots.
Stop looking at the camera when you do when you talk about aim. I totally agree. It's definitely my experience in Metal Ranks with like literally first fight and the blame game begins and you're like, you don't have enough information now. Like, if you're being hard counted, that would be probably one of the, with particular heroes, if you're, I don't know, if there's a Zara going into a Diva or something like that, that might be an issue or something. But like, you don't have much more information than that.
No, I think it's just literally you immediately get at this disadvantage because someone's like losing in chat or like blaming someone, or you just hear someone in voice chat immediately go, oh, why have you gone? Can we not go Widow? Like, oh, okay. This is the conversation.
Another DoomFist?
Another DoomFist, yeah. I mean, you might catch me being like, Mercy. Oh, but like, honestly, that's because she's useless.
She's so useless. Clip it, everyone. Mercy's useless.
There's only so few people who can play Mercy well. And I think playing Mercy well is a really a high skill. But I get it. Mercy's fun. Ana is better, and she's also got better utility, and you should play Ana. The end. So instead of tilting, fatigue, blame, premature swapping, we're going to go for cool daddy vibes. We're chilling. We're taking it on the chin. We're just being like, oh, well, wasn't my game, wasn't our game. I can take ownership of that. I'm going to get better. I'm going to stay in Ana. Next game, I'm going to win. I'm going to do better. Because I think that mental also just improves your general skill. Because if you're not like taking on the bullshit that goes on in the game and you're focusing on what you can do to change what's happening, then you're gonna like, that literally can always change the game. I've had games where second round I say to my team, no, we're good, like it's chill, let's lock in, and we do lock in and we win the game. Like mental is a huge thing, and I think in gold it gets lost a lot.
Like I've been on plenty of games where you have an absolutely shocking defense, and then so does your opponents have a shocking defense as well. And it's like, oh, it's kind of even anyway. Or but you get so like, oh my God, I can't believe we just didn't, do anything. And then, then they did the same thing on, like, every game is winnable.
Every game is winnable.
I'm kind of curious to know, I think the answer is probably just don't worry about it. But if someone else is tilting, do you even make an attempt, or you just be like mute and move on and just stay cool daddy vibes? I don't know. Do you make an attempt? I'm not sure if I would. I don't know.
My approach is to be silly.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying I don't tilt, because I do tilt.
Yeah.
But that's when people are actually bad. But I do tilt. And I think when I'm capable of, I just talk to them. If they're tilting, I'm like, hey, it's cool, man. Like, we're fine. We got this. And it's bringing in that kind of, it's just like maturity. I'm sorry, but like, it's a maturity thing.
Yeah.
You little brats tilting in chat. Grow up.
Go have a sandwich.
Grow up and get good.
Eat a banana.
Eat a banana. Level up your blood sugar. What's going on here? Have a nap.
Have a nap. Good true.
Have a nap.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think mental's a huge one. I think metal ranks really do not have a grip on it. They tend to go really like negative mental. And you do have to keep up the good vibes. Like if you watch any streamer who's queuing high elo, they're like, I feel like 70% to 80% of them are just like, oh, this sucks. Oh, well, GG, go next. Because it's just like another game and you're going to grind it anyway. So like, just keep playing and, hope for a W. Do what you can to change it. Much like in life, chat. You can't control everything.
Are you saying we're learning Overwatch lessons and life lessons at the same time?
That's what I'm saying, Pog.
Holy moly.
That's
I did
what I'm
not
saying.
prepare people. Get double lessoned, idiots.
Get double lesson. Get learned. Get learnt. Okay. All right. So instead of we're done with like kind of general gaming stuff. I think all of those is what kind of gets you to be generally able to climb and understand what is keeping you in like medal ranks. And it's a lot to improve on, but it comes with time and it comes with grinding. A big one is you just got to grind the game to get those skills. But what is Ana about? Because that's what we're here for. We're here to learn about Ana.
We're here for the old lady.
We are. What's this old lady all about? In my opinion, I think Ana is an all-rounder if you can play her. If you understand her kit, you can play her in counter dive, you can play her in dive, you can play in brawl, you can counter brawl. Her anti-nade and her sleep it lends itself to either side of each kind of style of gameplay. The other thing, Ana is a sniper, and whilst earlier what I said, when you set up Ana, you don't set up on the front line. We're not setting up on point in front of the tank. We're setting up at the back. And generally for sports that's what you do, but with Ana, I'm gonna let you know that you want the back view.
Yeah.
You want grandstand views there. And Ana, abilities crafted by the gods, sleep, nade, shoot, and there will never be another character like her because she was designed perfectly, and that's it.
So you've said a lot of positive things about what she's good at. What is she bad at? What is Ana bad at? Surely there's disadvantages.
How dare you? And I'm asking you to leave this lesson right now. How dare you do this? Ana is bad when someone outskills you, in my opinion.
Wow. Okay.
If a team is outskilling you, or a dive is outskilling you, and you do not have the backup, you might have to swap.
Yeah.
What she's not good at is, honestly, I'm so offended. I can't even think straight.
Because I think when I have a poor experience on Ana, it's usually when I'm in the back line, I get dove, then it turns into me in a 1v3 or something like that, and the team ignores me in those medal ranks. Would you say that's probably when to start thinking about? Is that still a skill issue then? Probably.
That's I'm in medal ranks. This sucks.
Yeah.
If you're getting a Winston, a Tracer, and a Genji diving on you, and your team is not putting any pressure on them, then it's not Ana's fault. It's because say they dive on you and you successfully sleep the Winston and you move out of bubble towards your support, and the Genji and the Tracer land. If they all land a full clip on you, then it's fine if you get traded.
Yeah.
If you die and you're out of the fight, but if your team needs to turn around in them. Yeah, because you've slept the Winston. If you've hit 2 shots on the Tracer, she's half health. That's an easy elimination for a tank or a DPS. And then the support, it should be like, is my team doing the work to follow up on like the sacrifice that I have made dying, which is on any character, to be honest.
That's a good way of thinking about it. I like that a lot, actually. It's like, am I still doing what I need to do?
Yeah,
I feel confident in what I'm doing. Yeah.
That's why people prematurely swap, because they're like, I couldn't beat this. I couldn't beat this.
Yeah.
And it's like, you were never going to beat it, mate. How are you going to beat 3 characters diving you?
Yeah.
It's a team game. It's not character dependent. That's why it's like, you need to learn these general skills for Overwatch and understand that the general skills make up almost more than your individual character skills. Cool. How do I play Ana? So when I say how do I play Ana, this is how I play Ana. I don't want people to think that this is hard and fast rules. But this is how I've played Ana. This is my mentality when I go into a game. When I play Ana, I like to cosplay as lore accurate Ana. And
What
a
does
lot of the
that
time,
mean?
more accurate Ana is like I'm playing as if I'm in an Overwatch trailer.
Okay.
Like I'm hitting sleeps. I'm shooting Widow. Like I'm not missing shots.
You
Every
are the hero.
sleep is like I'm the
Mm.
hero. And a lot of the time I'm playing like I'm the only person on the team, which I wouldn't suggest all the time, but I am prioritizing myself more than other people on my team in terms of sustainability. Like I want to live. I don't want to die. So I will do things within my capability to keep other people alive. But yeah, when I begin a game, I also identify a carry in my team. So across the board, if I can see someone who's making impact and I look at stats, not that stats are always important, but if a tank is making space, I'm going to make sure that I give him a good amount of attention. I'm not ignoring him. If my Cassidy is flanking and they're getting a lot of value, then I'm going to keep sights on him so I can keep him up. And sometimes there's not a carry. Sometimes you're the carry, and you just have to be like, "You're welcome, team. I'm now going to carry you to victory," and that can look like, you damaging as much as you're healing. To be frank, and the last thing, I'm healing the team. I'm here to heal the team. The team includes myself, and I'm not here just to heal the tank. Everyone is as valuable as a member of the team. So I try to focus on the DPS as much as I focus on a tank, because I think like a lot of middle rank Anas will look at a tank and be like, "Look how much healing I have! Oh my god, wow!" And it's like you scoped down main looking at a Reinhardt swinging into like a whole team. Like, of course you're gonna have 15,000 healing. Like, but what healing did that? What value did that healing add? And it's almost like nothing, because in terms of the game overall, damage, you doing damage and using your cooldown, sleep, and nade is more valuable than you healing gold Ryan who is swinging at nothing and doesn't put his shield up. Next. So the other thing with Ana is that she is a sniper. She can still brawl. She can still do these things. That comes with like your familiarity with the character and being able to quick scope or hip fire in brawl. But she is someone that needs to use angles and needs to position well to set up for herself and to enable her team. So there's things that I will do for Ana for like a tank who's pushing in if I think it's worth it, I will push. Like, there are situations where it's worth it, but there are also situations where I'm like, I know in 2 seconds, Tracer's just blinked around that corner and is coming for me. And if I overextend, I'm going to get flanked. And then I'm in a 1v1 with a Tracer and my tank dies and they push me and now we're staggered. So I'm going to be like, I'm not overextending. I'm heading back. And I always want to have that safe retreat. So that's, you kind of pick an angle or a wall where you can get out of. And you always need cover. Like, you need to be able to peek out or walk around things. And you never really want to be just, it's like the biggest mistake low tier, low skilled Anas do is scope in and look down main. You kind of get lost with Ana a little bit when you're scoped in the sense that you're like, I'm just this little guy at the back of the map, like looking down. I can like just like try and shoot people, but it's such a waste of time, and you're like losing a lot of like you have no uptime. Then you're not doing useful actions. You're just scoped in, looking. So you want to be pushing up, using angles, and hiding in useful places. Yeah, positioning is really important as a support. You don't want to be within arm's reach often, and if you are, you want to make a educated decision on why you're doing that. And that can be a lot to do with like when cooldowns are happening or there's an ult about to come from the other team, etc. Any thoughts about that?
I actually think that's like major, and probably that comes with like the map awareness and knowing what the sight lines are and knowing all that sort of stuff. I think that's something I
And it's
actually need to
also
think about a lot more, because I will like just I for some reason, like if I've got a scope, I think far is like safe, and that is not the case sometimes.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
no. You're a perfect target for flankers. Like you're
yeah,
just sitting there still, and because your movement slows when you're scoped in, like you're so easy to hit. And
mm,
like you can scope in, but you need to know when it's a good time to scope in. Like I will scope in for more than 10 seconds sometimes, but I know I'm on a good angle, I'm at a good hidden spot, and I know there's nobody's flanking yet. Nobody's swapped to tracer, nobody's coming for me, so I can relax. But that comes with your game awareness and your game knowledge when you know you can do that. And I would say that if you're in metal ranks, you don't want to be just scoping in. You want to be vigilant for most of your time. Um, as in goal to get like those good habits up for when you're in ranks where you are constantly under assault by DPS who are flanking you or tanks who are on your ass.
now, something I do know that you probably haven't mentioned, just to do with scoping and non-scoping, is scoped is hit scan, but it also gives you a trail on the map where it reveals your position. Whereas hip fire is
Hip fire
slight
is
projectile, but it gives you no trace line,
Mhm,
so your position is not revealed as well. So probably also something to
mhm,
think about. I think that's sometimes important when you're trying to like stay a bit concealed. You shouldn't be scoping.
mhm.
I don't
It
know.
depends. It honestly, like, do you think that you need to make these judgment calls in the moment? Like, is it bad for me to be revealing where I am right now?
Yeah,
Yeah, if a widow's looking down main and she's been pinged, it's probably really bad for you to be doing that because she can just like hook to where you are and
yeah.
scope down at you. Like it's judgments that you need to make. But yeah, you're right.
Mm.
It is hit scan scoped in, and that's why, which I'll mention later. That's why we learn how to quick scope, and that's why we learn when to hip fire. Yeah. Um.
Oh my god.
All right. So I think a huge
Panicked.
don't hit that button. That's what I'm kind of saying. Stop panicking. And second of all, stop jumping. Stop jumping, guys. Why are all of you jumping? Okay, quick
Unbind
rant.
spacebar.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
No, don't unbind spacebar. Don't be bloody stupid. But the amount of people in metal ranks who are just like jumping up and down, having a jolly old time. I'm like, stop jumping. You do not understand how easy you are to track and hit when you are jumping around because your like pattern is just there. So you're just going up and like you're so easy to hit. Stop jumping. Learn how to ADS strafe and crouch and like you need to be throwing in all of like say like on Honor, I love to dual DPS. I love to dual hit scans. I love to ego a widow. And if I want to do that, then I need to make myself unpredictable in my movement. And jumping up and down is going to be like the fight's over within 1 second. So you need to be 80 strafing, and you don't need to be like ASD, DSD, DSA. It needs to be like back and forth, and then you need to throw some crouches in there, and you can jump here and there, and that's fine. But you need to be unpredictable. You need to not be trackable, and jumping up and down is just going to make you a target. Just stop it, God. So my next advice is stop panicking, for the love of God. Stop. If just because you hear a Genji near you doesn't mean you need to throw a sleep out at whatever sound you hear. You don't need to do that. You don't need to throw a nade whenever a tank comes too close to you. You need to be using these things strategically, and you need to know when to use them. And that mainly includes is using them to apply pressure, because fights have a lot to do. The success of a fight have a lot to do with how much pressure you're applying with your cooldowns. And nade is, I can't remember all the abilities in the game, but nade is the best cooldown in the game to apply pressure because it can anti a whole team. And what's a whole team is anti going to do? If you're able to track a Curie cleanse or whatever, like an immortality lamp, and you're able to anti the team, then they have to leave. They have to leave, they have to back up, and having that cooldown ready to use at the right time is so important, and way more important than getting like an anti or a heal. Like a lot of the time, many Anas or low elo Anas use their nade to predominantly heal when it's like, quite frankly, not that useful. Like, yeah, it's situational, but it's not that useful. So yeah, you need it to apply pressure, and you don't need it to panic sleep a wall or nade an unuseful target. And once you lose that cooldown, then you kind of like, you've just given the other team an incredible advantage. And then you need to be able to use your cooldowns to alleviate any pressure that's being put on you. So that panic sleep that you've just thrown away, that Genji was waiting for you to panic sleep. Mm. He was waiting. He dove in there. He reflected. He's waiting for you to sleep. You throw the sleep and it hits the ground because you panicked. And instead of being like reading the posturing and gesturing of a enemy character and being able to tell when they're going to do certain actions and then sleeping them to alleviate pressure, you've just wasted a cooldown. So it's much better. You need to keep a cool head and watch an enemy team's behavior or enemy character's behavior to be able to successfully alleviate pressure off you to sustain a fight. Stop nading nothing. Use nades to anti things. So usually I'm saving my cooldowns for fights, offense and defense. So usually when you group and you push, I'm using it then rather than when my tank gets like sprinkled by a Cassidy or a soldier. I'm not going to throw a nade on him. I'm not doing that. I'm not throwing a sleep unless I'm really confident on a Widow, unless my Winston can actually dive them. Like I'm keeping those cooldowns for when it's going to be useful. When we're in between fights, I generally try not to use them unless I feel there's a good advantage. But there's certain situations where, as I just said, like if I know I can land a sleep on something that can start a fight, then I'm gonna do that and call it, and then that gives us the advantage because you're applying pressure, you're using your cooldowns to apply pressure. And while you're doing this, you need to be aware of like character respawns. I think it's really important in the structure of a game to know when characters are coming at you so that you're not using cooldowns on in useless places, or like when you think it's advantageous, when you need to be saving your sleep to sleep a tracer that's just respawned, or you need to be using it to sleep a Winston that's about to ult who's just respawned. You need to be tracking where people are. You just don't want to be caught out. So no panic using your cooldowns. Tracking ults is really important for knowing when to use your cooldowns, and it's also really important to track people's ability use so you know when to use your cooldowns.
Good to know.
Good to know.
All these slides that you're presenting things I'm guilty of, and I'm being humbled a lot today.
This is like, I do think a lot of this corrects the approach that, or some of the lack of skill that people in medal ranks have. And once you're able to improve on them, you will start climbing. Especially if you learn how to damage.
Yeah.
You need to damage as a support. I genuinely think the difference between a medal rank gamer and a high tier gamer who's playing support is one who is like, who's not healbotting. Stop healbotting. It's not going to get you anywhere. The only healbot in the game is literally Mercy. But even then, a high skill Mercy knows when to pull out her Glock. There's this thing called uptime, and I think uptime does affect your MMR. So uptime is basically useful actions committed in like the span of a certain time. So you need to keep your uptime up, which is healing people. If you're not healing people, you need to be like getting damage on people. You need to know when the right time to do that is. But uptime is really important because it will kind of define how you start climbing. Being useful during the whole game. And damage is what makes you really useful as a healer, because you're healing and you're damaging as well. The other thing is knowing your kill combo as Ana is really important, because you're not always going to get a peel, but you can sleep someone who's flanking on you, or you can sleep a Cassidy, and if you know your kill combo, then you've just like done a very valuable thing for your entire team.
Can you explain to me what kill combo means?
A kill combo is what in your kit equals a death. So with Ana, generally, it's when you sleep a target, how many shots. I say this later on, but it's shot, nade, shot, punch. I think that equals 265. With Cassidy, he's 275 health, so you have to add in another shot there somewhere. But what you want to do is you want to shoot nade, and the reason you shoot nade is because nade cancels the shoot animation and quickens the time to kill. So your kill combo is really important for, being a valuable support in the back line who can eliminate a target and not have a tank turnaround or a DPS turnaround. You generally won't have to be like, oh, I've slept this target. You can be like, I'm going to go deal with this. And the fight continues on as normal. And I think damaging useful targets is your priority, obviously. Who's vulnerable? Who are you putting damage on? Who do you have sights on? Who can you pressure? Every damage you do is more pressure on the other team. And the more kills you make it's win-win. Do more damage, guys. Stop healing. Just be a useful team member. Use all of your kit appropriately and just get good. Get good.
Yeah, great.
Okay. So my next piece of advice is stay alive. We need to stay alive, guys. And with Ana, you can stay alive pretty easy. You've got to sleep. You got an anti. So yeah, stay alive. Do not die. Do not die. If you can get out, if you know a team's or a team fight's lost, get the out. Don't stagger. Stop staggering. Stop walking in. You don't always have to commit with a tank who is going 1-5. That's not going to win you the game. You need to identify whether they will or not. Yeah. But most important, know when it's the right time to do these things. Know when it's correct to stay alive and get out, because you have an advantageous spot to get out. So, hey, I'm in a good spot. I can walk out here. I know that they're going to die. And if I overextend, I die too, and then we're staggered. And it's good to know when you need to die, when you need to just walk in. Just walk in and die, because getting out is going to take longer. And if you get caught out, you're going to stagger. That's 30 seconds of walking out of spawn, of respawning, walking out of spawn, and setting up again. So staying alive is really important. Please do not die. Know when it's important to get out.
The staggering really hurts, because then you're also praying that your team doesn't then continue to stagger after you come back.
I have to say, like, when I have teams that stagger, I begin the attitude of, I have to take care of myself. It's time for me to look after me.
Yeah.
Fuck my team. So if my feeding Genji is continuously going in and staggering after my tank has just died, then I'm going to AFK at spawn until the tank is in front and walking forward. Like, I'm going to look after my MMR. I'm not going to look after the teams. Like, I don't know if that's selfish or not, but you kind of have to change your attitude when you can see that your team isn't capable of like a thought that is good.
Yeah, right.
Because staggering shouldn't be hard to not do.
No, it shouldn't.
Well, you don't have a team. What are you doing?
No.
Like, like you are a superhero, but also you're a superhero in a superhero gang.
Against other
So
superheroes. Yeah.
stick together.
No, I think that's really important, and it's probably something to be really mindful of. I think it's sort of like through all of these sort of things, like having this mindset is like I'm just trying to develop a mindset that I need to be constantly reminding myself of things like stay in cover, don't die, don't like keep alive, do damage, be useful
exactly.
all the time, all these sort of things. I'm just sort of like trying to build up these things to keep in mind.
Stay alive. Staying alive is really important on any role. Stay alive. Don't, use your cooldowns to get out if you need to. Any seconds that are wasted in a fight, like typical gold experience is you go in, you begin a fight, your Sojourn gets immediately picked, and then your tank decides to dive the back line without a DPS. And sometimes that can work, but are you enabling the tank? Are you doing damage? Like, how do you enable that situation? But then the tank dies because they line of sighted you. Now it's time to get out. Now it's time to back up. Like, you need to be able to make those decisions.
Yeah.
And if your team isn't coming, then it's up to you to decide. All right, so now we're down to Ana practical stuff.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. Ana practical tips. Something about Ana is you reload faster when you still have bullets in your clip. So
What?
yeah. So when you reload, you want to pretty much use your clip down to 1 bullet left and then reload. And then it's faster than going to an empty clip. I don't know how fast, but yeah. You don't want to use all your bullets, but people also think there's this melee animation nade cancel thing that also saves time, but it's either longer or the same amount of time. So melee animation cancel doesn't actually work. You want to just not use all your bullets. Don't use all your bullets. Frankly, when you're shooting, you should be reloading at safe times or at strategic times, not just like till you've used your entire clip. Next practical tip. You have a kill combo. It kills most squishies and DPS, which is why I don't use the perk Groggy. That's just a personal preference. Groggy is still helpful. I think if you feel like you need something to lean on, which is the slow of the Groggy effect in eliminating someone, it can be still very useful, but bounce nade is still, like, I would say, superior. Your kill combo is sleep. So you sleep a target, and then you want to shoot and nade immediately. So shoot nade, and the nade cancels your shoot animation. I think like cancels the second half of it, or the second last quarter. Then you shoot punch, and that should eliminate most people. But with higher target, like DPS targets, I think Cassidy has a bit more health, or someone else does. You might need to add in another shoot. And your shoot and nade are both 75. If your biotic bounce hits again, you get another 50, so you might not have to do the whole combo, but then melee does 40, so it should eliminate most people. I don't know, just hit the shots, sleep someone and hit your shots, and they will die. But yeah, you've got a kill combo as Ana. It's really, really useful. It essentially enables you to be more independent than having to call on the rest of your team in fights and such. So learn your kill combo, learn how to sleep first, then learn your kill combo.
This is great because my normal action is like when I hit a sleep, I'm so excited. I will hit my ping button 400 times, go, look, everyone, look what I've done. And then everyone races off to go and bully that person. And that's really fun.
I mean, I still ping it. But when I'm pinging it, I'm running straight up to that person, and I'm about to, like, if nobody has to turn around, but I let them know, like, I'm about to shoot this person.
Hey guys, watch this.
Yeah, watch this. Watch this sick clip.
I like that.
All right, next. Nade your feet in close combat. Nade your feet. Nade your feet, silly goose. So if you're being pressured and a queen comes up and is axing you, or Ryan is swinging at you, nade your feet, because it nades you and it nades the target. Heal effect plus 75. I actually think it's plus... Oh, no, it is. So you get a 75 heal on you, and then you get plus 50% healing on yourself. So if your support is watching, you get healed more. But then it puts damage on the target with 75 and they're antied, and it's 100%. Like, they can't be healed at all. So you have a better chance of eliminating them. So always nade your feet when you're pressured. Don't throw it at a target. Generally with nade, it's like good to aim for the ground in most cases. I tend to use my nade to throw at walls, or if say if another team or the enemy team is setting up for a fight, I like to like aim at the wall that they're setting the fight up at, and that can hit the team, and it then it doesn't stagger, it kind of extends their setup, because then they have to wait for the anti to cool off, and you've bought yourself a little bit of time. It can be useful, and sometimes if you've got someone who's poking and you've naded, then you might eliminate it squishy. So yeah, nade things that aren't throwing it at a character. Nade something that's not moving. Otherwise, it's going to shoot right past them, and I've seen it happen so often. So, depending on the situation that you're in, your select targets can be walked away from. It is not always advantageous to try and eliminate someone who might potentially just kill you. Best example is walk away from a ulting monkey that you've just slapped. Just walk away. He can slap you twice and you're gone. So just like get on out of there, get some cover. Don't try to kill combo him. Hopefully your team also lets him sleep. Sleep can be walked away from, and it's okay. You don't always have to eliminate them. You don't always have to get that revenge. All right. And the other thing is, you don't always have to nano your Genji blade. You don't always have to do that. Nano is useful for so many things, and I think that you can use it. It can be as effective in saving a target from death as it can be on an offensive push. A nano can turn a fight around on your support if you like nano a Juno, because now she's alive, and you can counter push. Like there are times where it's useful to use to save people, and save you, because now you have Shrike. Oh. You can just nano anyone to save yourself.
What a perk. What a
perk. We love it. It's great. It can be very practical. So yeah, you don't always have to nano that Genji who's spamming 90 healing at you. You don't always have to do that. You don't always have to nano a Winston dive in a backline. You can save it and save yourself, save your teammate. Yeah, I think nano. Yeah, it's not just offensive. It can also be defensive.
Okay.
But also a fabulous ult, which you should be keeping, thinking about uptime, doing useful things so that you can build your ult, because it's an incredible ultimate to use. It will win you fights almost. I feel like 70% of the time when you use a nano, it's successful, but I don't know. That's just me.
You're here to teach, not to brag, Eshry. I'm really...
All right. The next thing is you're immediately going to go out and learn how to quick scope. If you can't quick scope, then you like, honestly, not being able to quick scope on Ana is like not being able to, like, I don't know, use your shield on Reinhardt, or it's just kind of the capability of quick scoping keeps you agile and young as Ana, because you're able to go from seeing like the full scope of the battlefield per se, and then instead of the hip fire, you're going to a hit scan state really fast. So it's really important in terms of skill to be able to like quickly hit a target you need to heal, like in the hit scan sense, because that's an immediate heal, whereas the projectile is a bit slower. Yeah, and what we said earlier, and his hipfire and sleep is projectile and his scope is hit scan. Also, quick scoping is much more reliable than hip firing. In my opinion, like that's why people love scoping in, right? Is because it's like it's a hit scan shot. It's going to hit wherever I'm looking, and with quick scoping, it's more reliable than a hip fire because it's the projectile is slightly off. I don't know. Just get in, guys. Learn quick scope right now. All right, but yeah, this kind of TLDR. No, I really trust in my capabilities. When I was climbing, I was like, my mental is I trust myself to play well, and I'm not at the whims of my team. So I'm confident in my abilities, and the only time I'm not confident is when I actually come up against someone who I'm like, that person is better than me. Because there are people in this game who are genuinely better than you, and there always probably will be. But if I'm confident going into a fight and I am confident with my aim, I know that I can climb. I know that I can do things like off angle to kill Pharah Widow. I can push a tank if I want to. And if I have my cooldowns, I can potentially kill them. 1v1 traces. I can stay scoped on in fights because I'm aware of the enemy team's whereabouts. Like all of these things, I like trust my game knowledge. And eventually you have to really lean into your confidence to be good at Ana. And just be good at the game in general and any character. It's like trusting your capabilities and not getting caught up in the mental drag of, oh, my team's not doing well. Oh, it's my team's fault. It's okay. If my team's not doing well, I can trust myself to pick up the slack because also ultimately I can hit my shots, which is incredibly important in an FPS shooter game. You need to be hitting those shots. Like the only reason I think I ever got to GM is because I went off and I played a game for 2,500 hours of Apex Legends, which is basically a game where you spend every fight 1v1ing another character. And it's so aim heavy that it just forced me to be able to 1v1 other characters and be confident that I could actually eliminate another target. And you need to be able to get into a state of mind where you trust that you can hold your place on the team. And not have to continuously rely on others. And that's when you get into the blame game. That's when your mental gets bad. So you got to trust your skills. Trust your skills.
What is
TLDR? So I don't know. There's a lot about Ana to learn, but I think basically hit shot very good. Very good if you hit your shots. Very important. Uptime very good. You need to be doing useful things with your cooldowns. That's like, don't waste them. And your positive mental is very good. So you got to stay in the right state of mind, and you got to trust yourself. And yeah, stay alive. Stop dying. And as Ana, you have like a really good kit to do that. She may not have the movement, but you've got something to stop movement. You've got sleep. Ana is the greatest. I love Ana. I hope with some of these things, we'll be able to learn how to get you guys out of the metal ranks, or at least out of gold. Maybe like learning plat gameplay, or, one day we'll get you to diamond. But there you go. That's what I have to say about Ana.
Thank you so much for that. What a lesson. I feel like you've clocked me with a whole bunch of mistakes, and I feel like they're not like crazy, like they're not hard to address. I don't think. I think a lot of it is mindset. A lot of it is like, and then, work on your aim. But I feel like aim will be improved by some of that stuff as well. And a little bit.
Aim is this whole thing, a whole skill apart from like your game sense. It's like you can completely, like you can be really good at the game and get to like diamond with your game sense, but I think once you get beyond that, it's kind of just your difference in aim from masters upwards. It's who can kill you faster.
Yeah.
And your
who's missing less
game
shots.
awareness does come in that. But
Yeah.
if someone is hitting their shots more than you are, then that's just the way it is.
All right, that was Overwatch School for Ana. I hope you learned something. If you enjoyed the content here, consider liking and subscribing. Also, in the description, you can check out Eshry. She streams a lot. She makes content on all sorts of platforms, so they're in there. And we'll see you for the next one.